Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to implement the core UI of our application. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's create a new module, click on Solution and add a new project and try to look for WPF class library. If you cannot find it here, just type under the search bar WPF class library. I'm gonna select this one, hit Next. Let's name it Core UI. Put it under the location, pocket goods and whatever, and hit Next. Version 8 of .NET and hit Create. Double click on Core UI and make sure to have .NET 8.0 and Windows, the same one. All right, now close this and right click, Manage NuGet Packages. We're going to install MVVM. Why? Because we need to create controllers for the modal as well as the snack bar. MVVM, hit install. We need to show SVG files, therefore let's install SVG image. And because we're going to implement the carousel, we need a dependency for that purpose. It is flip view. Make sure to choose this one and install. We need to handle Looty animation, therefore I'm going to install Looty Sharp and hit install. The last library that we need here is the material design themes. 9.7 million downloads and hit install. And that's all for the dependencies that we need in this particular Core UI module. The first thing that we have to customize is the theme of our application. Everything is going to be served from Core UI. I'm going to add a new folder. I'm going to call it theme. Inside the theme folder, I'm going to create a XAML file that's going to represent the pocket goods theme. We're going to merge into this resource dictionary, some child dictionaries, if you will. Let's add here the light theme from material design theme, and let's add the default theme, material design themes. Basically, by default, we're going to use the light theme. Next, we have to define the custom theme. Let's call it theme.light. And the theme creates a new dictionary, theme.light. In this file, we're going to define the font family and to customize the primary color and light color, foreground, and so on. Let's try to add the font that we're going to use in this project, which is Lato font. Under Core UI, create a new folder. Let's call it Assets. Try to download the fonts that we have used in the other applications and create a new folder. Call it Fonts and place the fonts right here. Now let's use those fonts under the theme.light, and we have to add those fonts in the Core UI configuration file. Now let's come back to the theme and light. Let's import first of all this namespace. We need to define the primary color, primary light, foreground, background. I'm gonna provide this to save some time. We are using pretty much the same colors that we have done under the other apps. Now I'm gonna add the colors for the success, error, info, and warning. And I will add the disabled text color and an optional custom background color. If you don't want to hardcode the font size under your XAML files, I'm going to provide here some fonts that I have prepared in advance related to small, extra small, small, and button, medium, and large, and extra large. Import system, and you are good to go. With the same manner, if you don't want to hardcode the icon sizes, I will provide the extra small, small, medium, and large, and extra large for the icon sizes. Now let's style the label by defining the text regular and its dedicated font family. I'm going to show here an example and the rest is going to be provided. We have to use here style. Next, we need to define the key. Let's say, for example, text regular. Let's freeze it. And for the target type, it's going to be for text block. All right. And I'm going to add here a setter for the font family, and the value is going to be from the static resource. Let's choose here Lato regular that we have defined up here. And we have to close the tag. Likewise for the others, for example, italic, text bold. Let's not hardcode the screen size. You can define all the needed stuff in your project regardless. It doesn't matter what I'm doing here. I'm just trying not to hardcode things in order to be reusable. This is for the screen size. You can add here extra small or screen extra small to make it more readable, and modal and border radius. All right, save the file, and that's pretty much it for the theme light. With the same manner, we're going to define the theme.dark.xaml file. The only difference, basically, it is the colors under the theme, and again, under the success, info, warning, and error, and some colors here and there. And for the rest, it's pretty much similar. Let's come back to the Pocket Goods theme, and we have to add the default theme, which is light theme. I would like to customize the default style of the card. For this purpose, I'm going to create a new file, a resource dictionary. Let's call it card. Let's mark it with to do in order not to forget about this. And I will add the card resource file here. All the custom styles has to be added under the Pocket Goods theme to be represented as the main theme of our application. I would like to customize another component, which is the scroll bar. It's going to be a resource dictionary. Let's call it scroll bar. Now, to get you up and running how to customize something under WPF XAML file, we have first of all to set the target. In this case, we're going to target the thumb of the scroll bar. We want to customize the rectangle or this particular section that I'm showing here using the cursor. It is this rectangle should be customized, primary color. You have to add here a setter and the property template, setter and value, and we have to customize control template, the target type, which is thumb. Inside, we're going to put what we want here as a view. Let's represent this particular thumb by a rectangle. Preferably, let's wrap it within a grid. It's going to be a rectangle for the horizontal alignment stretch and vertical alignment stretch. For the width and the height, auto, and the fill color, it's going to be transparent. Now, the element that should be at the top of this rectangle, it's going to be basically a border. Border stands for, I think it's just like a container, if you will. Let's give it a name, corner scroll bar rectangle. Let's add here the corner radius, as well as the horizontal alignment and vertical alignment to stretch, the height auto, width auto, and let's add some margin. The first value is left, the second value is top, third value is right, and the fourth is bottom. And the background from the template binding background. Now we have to set the triggers to change basically the height of this rectangle, which is the corner scroll bar rectangle. And it's going to be upon the property tag of this item. Let's add control template and triggers. When the property tag is horizontal, we're going to set the corner scroll bar rectangle. For the width, it's going to be auto, and for the height, it has to be small. Let's set the property for the target name, first of all, which is corner scroll bar rectangle. The property that we are looking for is width, and the value is auto. When the property tag is set to horizontal, we're going to change basically the corner scroll bar rectangle with auto. I'm going to copy this. Instead of width, I'm going to use here height, value 6. As I said before, it has to be small. Now it's time to customize the scroll bar. Target type, X, and the type, scroll bar. And let's close the tag. Next, for the setter, we're going to disable the property is flex enable. Let's set the foreground for this scroll bar, which is basically the same color that we have used under primary color. And the background set to transparent and the width to 7. Now let's define the template for this scroll bar. We have to add here the property template, and let's override the control template. Now we have to define the main track area. It's going to be represented under a horizontal sequence using rows. For the background color, it's going to be from the template binding. For the height of the first element under the row, the smallest amount that we can possibly do. Now this is basically the main area. We're going to define the track as well as the invisible repeat buttons. Let's add first the track to be represented. Let's name it track or part track. This is just a personal preference. For the position under the row, it's going to be 0 by default and is a direction reversed to true. Focusable false. Now let's customize the draggable thumb. It is under track and thumb. All right. Let's give it a name. For example, thumb. Let's give it a name. For example, thumb. The background color from the template binding. And we have to use instead the foreground color that we have used earlier. For the style, it's going to be dynamic resource and the scroll bar track thumb. Now for the invisible increase repeat button. We're going to disable basically this, those are the repeat buttons, the up and down. The first one, let's give it a name. The action that should be triggered when we click on this from the default command, scroll bar and page down. And let's hide it by assigning the opacity to 0 and focusable false. With the same manner, we're gonna hide this particular one. Now we have to customize whenever we hover on the thumb, the source name, which is the thumb. Property for the trigger is mouse over, and for the value true. We're gonna set basically the value of the background color. It has to be set from dynamic resource, button select brush. The target property name is thumb, and the property that we want to change is the background. And another event, when we drag basically this scroll bar or this thumb, we want to change the background color to another color. Let's call it dark brush. I'm gonna copy this trigger. Instead of is mouse over, I'm gonna do here is dragging dark brush. Now let's define another trigger for the property is enabled. When it is not enabled, we're gonna set this visibility to collapsed. Basically, why we do this? To avoid displaying the scroll bar when not needed. And that's pretty much it for the implementation of scroll bar. Now let's define those brushes that we have used earlier for the button select brush and dark brush. We're gonna use those under the scroll bar style. Now let's come back to the Pocket Goods theme and let's add the scroll bar here. Basically, as shown here, we're gonna merge all those dictionaries in order to define the Pocket Goods theme. I would like to add some more customization here, more specifically for the splash screen. I'm gonna add here a resource dictionary. For the background of the splash screen, this is the same color that we have defined under the splash screen of Android version as well as the Swift version. Optional, if you will, label style that's gonna be centered for the splash screen. Padding 0, vertically centered, and center everywhere. Content alignment, horizontal alignment, and horizontal content alignment. And that's all for the theme of our application. This is not sufficient because we need to define a custom class that's going to load for us dynamically the theme once the user is toggling the dark theme on and off. And the theme, I'm gonna add here a new class. I'm gonna call it theme switcher. I will start by defining the theme dictionary for dark and light theme. It's gonna be a public enum. Now we have to add a function to apply the dark theme and another function to apply the light theme dynamically. It's gonna be a static function, apply dark theme. We need to access the palette helper. I'm gonna store it under palette helper, and we have to get the theme by calling palette helper and get theme. Let's store it under theme. Next, we have to set the base theme to dark, and we have to set the theme from the palette helper to theme. Now we have to load the dark brushes dictionary dynamically. I'm gonna create here a private function that's gonna handle this for us. And we have to pass as an argument the relative URI in CoreUI module. First, we have to build the URI to load resource dictionary from CoreUI assembly. Equal new URI. Let's use here $, pack and application and CoreUI and components. And let's concatenate the relative URI in CoreUI. Next, we have to do the absolute URI kind. Next, we have to load the dictionary, which is resource dictionary. And for the source, the pack URI. Next, we need to remove old CoreUI theme dictionary if any exists, because we need to avoid duplicating imports of the dictionary. Let's store it under existing dictionary, and we can access this by using application as shown here, and current and resources, merged dictionaries. And first or default, let's look for this particular one. The source shouldn't be null, and original string starts with the CoreUI components. If it exists, we're going to remove this dictionary, and again by using application current and resource, and we can access the merged dictionaries, and we have to remove the existing one. If it doesn't exist, we have just to add this regardless. Instead of remove, we have to do add. Now let's use this function whenever to load this theme dynamically, the theme dictionary that we want, and we have to access here the theme. The theme basically it's gonna be the string representation of this theme.dark.xaml. Add here an extension function on theme dictionary. And have to pass here this referring to the enumeration theme dictionary and theme. All right, theme dictionary and lights, for example. Now, regardless, by default, we have to use the light theme. Now we can use this function here in the apply dark theme. After loading the dictionary, we have to notify the application that the theme has changed. It's going to be helpful in testing, basically. Add here a custom event handler. It's going to take theme dictionary to represent the theme, and it is nullable. let's call it theme changed. Whenever the theme changes, we have to invoke this event. It's going to be type of theme switch or switcher, and here theme dictionary, and we are switching to the dark theme. With the same manner, let's switch to the light theme. And I would like to add here another function to get the current theme. Dynamically, to get the current theme, we have to use the palette helper, get the theme, and get the base theme. Now what we have to return, if the base theme is dark theme, all right, give me a break. I have to read this. So if the base theme is the dark theme, we're going to do theme dictionary and dark, which is correct. This is what I want. All right. Sometimes it doesn't work. I would like to get directly the theme from material design theme WPF, which is the library that we are using. Let's call it get material design theme, new palette helper, and get theme. As simple as this. I think that we're going to stop the video right here. For the next tutorial, we're going to implement the string resource, and we have to implement the font loader for the Lato font, and we have to implement the design theme that's going to be used under the design section of our XAML file. I hope you have learned something new. See you in the next one, and happy coding!